All right, here we go. I think we're live. You should be hearing me. Let me know in chat if you're not. First stream of 2023, so things had to be kind of reset up and Windows updates and all that. You guys know how all of that goes. We're gonna. He's next to me already. I'm gonna introduce Sixwheelin here in just a moment. But first and foremost, hello everyone. Hope you had an awesome end of your year. We've not seen you since the Platinum Dev stream a few days before the Platinum Edition released. So we're happy to be back on the streams, of course. The community spotlights are back. We're going to have them probably every 2 weeks. We're going to have some new types of streams as well. Next week, we're going to have a first edition of a new type of stream that we're going to do. If you want to know more about it, then guess what? You're going to have to hang around until the end, and I'll talk more about it then. Nice little tease there, huh? So here we go. Let's bring him in now because you see his lovely face there. Sixwheelin is with us, Giants partner, Twitch streamer. Six, say hello to everybody.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
There he
Kermit, how you
is.
doing?
I'm good, buddy. I'm happy to have you on. First episode of the Spotlight of 2023. We've had some people asking for a while now, are the spotlights coming back? And it's been really cool for me to see how much the community loves them. I know that people really like to see both, their friends that they already are aware of, but also you learn about new people here on the spotlight. So if you know Six already, or you're about to get to know him, we're excited that he's joined us for the first episode of this year. Six, yeah, happy to have you, man.
Well, it's an honor to be here. I'm so happy that you asked me, and I'm excited, man.
So someone in chat's already said, "Ooh, Sixwheelin has had a haircut. Did you do that specifically
Actually,
for the
no,
stream
actually,
today?"
no. I'm proud of it. I got back behind me here.
Oh, he's got it tucked back. Okay, all
I
right.
got a lot of it pushed back. This has said, push your hair back. I said, okay.
So he
A lot
is
of it's behind me.
he's Sixwheelin on Twitch. You don't do content anywhere else, right? Just on Twitch.
I have YouTube as well. I pop up a thing here or there once in a while. I started on YouTube, matter of fact, back in 2018. And
Gotcha.
that channel is still there. It's youtube.com/at Sixwheelin.
Okay, cool.
That is there. And I'm getting ready to start a new venture later that has nothing to do with farm sim, so I won't talk about it here. But I've got stuff I'm working on another YouTube channel I have, another project I'm doing. So
That's cool.
keeping
Yeah.
busy, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with diversifying yourself, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, well,
cool.
this is my baby. I mean, this is first always, and if I ever get any spare time to sit upright and do something, I'm going to do that other idea I've got.
Okay.
We'll see how it
All
goes.
right.
God willing, and the creek don't rise. I always say.
I love it. Okay, so let's get things started. All right, you have been around and watched a few of these, so you kind of know what to expect. I think you've done your homework a little bit ahead of this
Yeah.
week. But first question I always ask everyone is, what was the first farming simulator that you played?
First one was on PlayStation 3, I think, or four,
Okay.
or I don't know, 3 or 4. It was the FS15. It was free on PlayStation. So
Okay.
I did do I did that for I don't know about a week, and then I was really got into watching. It was new to me because I started watching some other farm or playing some other little farm game first of all, and then I found FS15 because I saw somebody live streaming on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm like, well, what's all this jazz? And so then I learned there was another game, FS17. I said, oh, let me have that. You know, I always want to have the best thing. So I bought FS17 and I played that on console for hours and hours on end. And then just kept going. You know, 19 came out. I put in just under. I was telling you earlier, I didn't get a PC until like April of 2019. So from that until 22 came out, I put in just under 10,000 hours of gameplay,
Okay.
um, which on 19, you know, and
Right.
I'm pumping them up there in nice hours now. I haven't looked, but I got that going pretty good too. And I got like over 2,000 mods now, so I'm proud of that. Everybody knows. mod hoarder.
You gotta have the big
Gotta
mod
have mod.
count, don't you? It's a
Yeah,
necessity.
I need help. Really do.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
I get
Um,
kidded. Hi, B Mac.
yeah,
Nice
so that's a cool story. A lot of people have like a similar story where they're like they've started out with some other, like a free version through PlayStation or Xbox or something, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, but there's like a new one out, and so I got to get that now. You're not the first
Right.
person that said that. And by the way, I see you like you're seeing some people that you know in chat. I would assume.
Yeah, my peeps are out there.
I love it.
How you doing, guys? I
Uh,
got my community so loving and kind. Um, I love you guys. Thanks for
well,
coming in.
that's one of the things I love about the community spotlight is like you're the guest, but really the spotlight's not just on you because your community's in chat too, and this happens
Yes.
every time I have a guest on, where you start seeing the like inside jokes from the guest communities basically, and you're seeing all that
Yeah.
love in there, and you start to see
Um,
like the same people intermingling in a lot of different communities on Twitch.
yes.
So it's lovely to see people in here hanging out, having a good time. So
Oh,
as we're
yeah.
going through, if you see someone and you want to comment on what they say, feel free to interrupt me and say
Well, if I do
something.
that, you won't get a word in, Kermit, because I've got a whole list of folk there. But how you doing, guys? We're gonna live after this. So I told them we'd do our live stream late today. But I
Awesome.
appreciate all of you, Sixwheelin family, and Average. I got some other partners, of course, that are great friends. Average Viking to you, and then my YouTube family, Gatch Gaming, aka Matt293. He's been very supportive, and Jazz Meat. I gotta say hi to Jazz Meat.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, the whole crew's here, and I just Taxi and everybody, MJG, I call them Monkey Joe Andrew. I mean, they're just all there.
Yeah, you gotta
Tony,
love it.
BMAC, all of them. But anyhow, this is why I was telling you. This is why I get out of bed for
Right.
these people, right. And I make them smile once in a while, and they make me smile all the time. And
Yeah, that's awesome to hear,
like I
buddy.
said, they give me a reason to get out of bed.
I love that. I love that. And that's one of the reasons I asked you to come on. I've been watching your streams for a while now. By the way, I'm lurking in streams all the time, whether or not you know I'm there or not. That goes for everybody, not just Six, but it's really cool to see how much your community supports you and vice versa too. So really happy to have you on here. And happy to have your community joining us. We got people over on YouTube as well. I see some former guests actually of the spotlight on YouTube. DJ Goham, Farmer Klein, Tony Miff, Misty Meow are all over there hanging out. So shout out to everybody on
All those
Twitch and
fine
YouTube.
people. Yeah.
By the way, we want to try to grow our new Community Corner YouTube. So if you're not following it already, the awesome thing now is that YouTube has the ability to make the little handles. So if you go youtube.com/@FarmSimCommunity, you'll find the Community Corner YouTube channel. That's where like all of these streams and the other types of streams that I'll be doing will be hosted. Our main YouTube channel for Farming Simulator, this from this point forward, it started about August of last year or so, July. That's just going to be things like trailers and official announcements and things like that. So if you want to follow along with the community type stuff, see what we're doing, make sure you follow that YouTube. We're going to try to grow that more this year. All right, let's get back to Six, our guest. Six, following up. So FS15, you got it for free on PlayStation. You went and bought 17 shortly after. What was it about the feeling of, you're like, you probably initially you were like, okay, the game's free, I might as well try it out. So you downloaded 15, you tried it out. What was it about it that drew you to the game initially, and what was it that hooked you and kept you coming back to it?
The main reason I got into farming simulating was because I stunk at shooting games. I sucked at it, and I get killed all the time. Some of my YouTube buddies out there used to invite me in to play different games. I remember one guy, his name was Lunatic, and Lunatic come over on YouTube, and he and his buddies called me in to play World of War Tanks or something like that. World of Tanks. And he didn't even really mean to. He hit a button accidentally. I ended up in there, and I stunk up the place so bad. I'm an old man now. I mean, I'm older than Moses, So
Right.
I've got my reflexes and the way I react. My reaction time is very slowed down from what it used to be. When I was back, light on my feet and easy to meet. Back in those days. So I suck at it, and so I wanted to play something, and so I saw the farm sim, and I said, well, I was from Kansas. So I liked farming. My grandpa had a farm. My my dad helped on that farm. I heard a lot of stories about it. I grew up in a metro area, though. I did not metro of KC. I did not live on a farm. I was city raised, pretty much suburbs. Much like I think what you were talking about earlier, Kermit. Right. It's a metroplex area, so on both sides of the state line around Kansas City.
Right.
So anyhow, I wanted to play, and the farming was cool. Once I started playing, I was like, "Hey, this is cool." I just enjoyed it. It was very relaxing, and everything revolves, of course, around the dang COPD that I have. And back when I was starting, I was like in a stage 3 time, and then it evolved into stage 4 during 19. And so it was just very important to me. And I was on hospice, and I was up playing and live streaming with the guys as long as I could. I'd be awake about 3 or 4 hours a day, and then they'd try to put me down. And I said, "Hey, this old gray mare is not ready to go yet." And I threw him out and got this machine I was telling you about earlier, Kermit, the Trilogy machine. It's a ventilator and like a BiPAP machine that removes CO2 from my lungs. And that being the case, it's kept me around longer than they thought. So anyhow, here we are. And but the game, I've been like, I got to get up and play the game. I got to see my friends, and it was exciting. So that's what we did,
Yeah.
That's what drew me, though, to Farm Sim, was just the camaraderie, the company. I couldn't get out of the house. I couldn't make friends. I'd spoken to you about I had moved to Jersey after having met my wife picked me up online. I wasn't fishing. Okay. I had just got AOL installed on a PC my brother gave me. And I don't know, 15 minutes after I completed this little profile AOL had you put on, this thing, boom, pops up, this little box, rectangle, says, "Hey, Kansas, want to dance?" And we'll be married 19 years next week. So
That's amazing. And for some of you youngins in here, AOL is the thing we used to have to use to get on the internet back in the day.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
and you had to wait about a minute and a half or longer depending on your connection for it to actually be connected. I know these things may sound weird to some of you, but this is how we
Yeah.
used to have to live. That's awesome, and congratulations on your anniversary, Six.
Thanks.
And we're really happy that you've been able to stick around with us and create such an awesome community on Twitch around Farm Sim. When did you first get into the streaming thing then?
So streaming, I started in December of 2018.
Okay.
I watched on YouTube. Like I said, I was a YouTube guy first.
Right.
I've been on Twitch a couple of years, 2.5 years maybe.
Okay.
My moderators could tell me. I forget. I don't check it out too much.
You're known as the forgetful farmer, right?
I am. I have about 12 brain cells available daily, and they just kind of go through a pattern, and they remind me of things when I call on them. There's not much room, and there's a lot of data, but very little bandwidth. So, so I do try to do my best. I'm on so much medicine, man. I got as many pills as Carter had, if you old timers know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I can forget things just while we're talking sometimes, but I try not to. But 2018 December is when I started over on YouTube.
Okay.
I had a favorite that I watched over there at the time. He's still kicking it over there, and he's on Twitch too. But he still does. He's the best role play farm sim guy, I think, in the whole world. His name's Farmer Min,
Okay.
and he is absolutely the best. Make up stuff in your head and put it on a video
Right.
and storyline that goes on for 30, 40 episodes sometimes. And so I was just so taken in by him. My wife and I got such a kick out of him. We'd watch him in the mornings. He'd put up a new video and we'd turn it on and have our coffee and watch this guy because he'd make you laugh your tail off. And it was a great way to start the day, in a good humor.
Right.
So I said, man, I would like to do that because I've always been a performer. Entertainment's always been my thing. I grew up, started singing knee high to a bullfrog. And me and my brother sang barbershop style music growing up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we sang at every Optimist club, the vets, every church in town, all the social events, because my elementary school music teacher, Mrs. Feist, she scarfed us up and she took us everywhere and showed us off. And it was just a blast. And so the bug bit me. I loved being on stage doing stuff,
Me too.
So I did that. And then I was in bands and choirs, and I played trumpet as well.
Nice.
And so I got into jazz bands later on in junior high and what you call it middle school now, and high school, and up to a semester of college, I did that. But then the day after I graduated in 1975, I had my diploma, and so I was smart. So I said, I think I'll start smoking. And that's why I'm sitting here in this shape.
Gotcha.
And I went for 42 years,
Oh, wow. Okay.
I quit smoking in September 23rd of 2017.
Oh, wow.
Because even through stage 3 COPDs and stuff, I tried to quit. I couldn't quit. And but I was laying in the emergency room, and they wanted to throw me on a ventilator. I said, no, I don't want that. I said, I'll go on one of those BiPAP machines, which is like this machine I got here at home.
Right.
I said, I'll do that. And if I go, I go, Well, 2 weeks later, I got out of the hospital. But that night, it was like, ding, that's what you meant. These things will kill you. Okay. And so it just came to me that it was just not an option. It was very clear. This is not an option. I see it. I'm here. I'm in it. So they saved me again. Wasn't the first time that kind of thing had happened, but to that degree, I had 98% CO2 level in my lungs.
Wow.
So, I mean, I was just about out.
Right.
And that's when it became clear, because my dad used to say I have a hard head, and used to frustrate the heck out of him. But, it finally came clear that it was no longer an option, and I didn't need a pill, a patch, nothing. I just haven't had the desire to smoke ever since that night. And thank God for that. That's what it took to get me through it, though, get me to stop. And so anyhow, I continued to entertain, though, all the way up until into my 40s, including I had gone to a broadcast school.
Okay.
And was graduating from that, but then they said, well, you're going to have to go to like KORN out in Western Kansas and clean the toilets, dump the trash, and spin records on the midnight shift. And I had a little family going on at the time. And I was like, I can't do that.
I've been there
I can't
before.
make them kind of pay,
Right.
I wanted to real bad, but I just couldn't do it because I always wanted to be on the radio.
You have, I was actually going to ask you, and you've already like segued into it if you ever had been, because to me, you have a very like old school, like radio style, like presence, at least with your voice. I think you're good on camera too, on Twitch, but like, yeah, it seems like you've done radio before. I've done some radio in my time, so I definitely understand like it is a hard, especially now, like as time has gone on, it becomes harder and harder to break into and make a living because it's starting to, fade away as like the go-to source
Yeah,
for information. So yeah, you really do. You got to pay your way, do those crazy shifts, and
you
contribute in
do.
other
And I was
ways.
willing to do it. I was willing to do it, but I just couldn't. Finances.
Right.
You got kids. It's like, no, that ain't gonna fit. So
Right.
you just go on and say, well, that was fun. And so I got into mobile DJing. Though I worked with a mobile DJ company in Kansas City for a bit, and then that bug bit me. I said, I could do this. I could have my own business.
Right.
So I started tinkering around with that. And I never really got that off the ground, but I had some fun with it for a while. It didn't pay any bills, but it did charge up my credit card a little bit. I
You
to
and I
do
have
that.
some similar backgrounds because I've tried the same thing
Yeah.
as well in the past. Yeah, for a
Oh
brief
man.
moment.
Oh, I
Yeah.
loved it. And being a singer, then the next thing was what? Karaoke came out. So
Right.
so then I got the karaoke business going in Jersey, and
Okay.
uh, and I got to do some fun stuff for a while. Yeah, I moved to Jersey in '03,
Okay.
and got busy on that right away, and was doing that up until '05, because in 2 quick years I kind of got all messed up because I got so busy so quick. I was working 6 gigs a week
Okay.
in all the bar circuits, in the area. And then I was picking up in the meantime, also some weddings and stuff that I would get.
Right.
And then I had a buddy who also had an entertainment business there, who was a detective, but he also had an entertaining thing, and he was an Elvis impersonator. And he got me gigs at other areas in New York. So I got to do some gigs. I did a couple of gigs on the boats on the Hudson, the party boats they would have that people rent. I did
Right.
a high school graduation. I did on the Hudson. That was fun. And I did things in the Catskills for the staff of the our guy. I'm sorry, mine just went blank. Howard Stern's
Okay.
production guys and stuff had a gig up there in the Catskills, and I got to go do that. So it was a fun thing. But
Right.
then the COPD kicked me in the butt, and I was in the hospital real bad. And each time these things happen, you can almost croak, from it. But they pull me out of them. They're exacerbations, and if they get to you quick enough, they pull you out.
Right.
So that's what happened, and finally, it was getting me so bad and causing me. It was so hard to even just walk any distance. So in 2011, I got put in a wheelchair,
Okay.
and I'm still in it.
Gotcha.
But that's where my name came from. Was it's a 6-wheeled power share,
Okay.
and so 6 wheels, Sixwheelin. And that's where Sixwheelin came from when I started streaming in December of 2018.
Right.
So that was a long explanation about when I started streaming.
No,
But
I
there it
love
is.
it though, and people are saying both
What a ride.
in Twitch and YouTube they're loving the history. So thanks for opening up and sharing that with us. I always, farm sim means a lot to me in my life personally too, and it kind of pulled me out of a dark spot in a different way, not
Mhm.
physically health, but my mental health. So yeah, it's
Right.
important I think to talk about these types of things, and so
Mhm.
thank you for sharing first and foremost. You said you talked just a bit ago about your name Sixwheelin and how it came about. You've
Mhm.
also started recently. I've seen on your streams, you've got like a little logo support disabled streamers on your
Yeah.
streams now. Can you talk about that a
Yeah.
little bit?
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate you asking. That is 2 weeks ago. I woke up on a Sunday morning, and this idea just hit my head. And I have an awesome graphics artist guy and dear friend, Velcronius. Shadow
Right.
know who I'm talking about.
I know
He does
Velcronius.
work. He does work for a lot of people, Tony and the
Right.
gang, and so Mr. Velcronius, I just dialed him up. Well, I get him on Discord. I say I got another big idea, and and God bless him, he always is there to help me, and I put him on the payroll. We said heck with it. Yep, hashtag SDS. That's right. So anyhow, I said to him what I was thinking, that I want to just make people more aware. Because if you look on Twitch, if you on a tag when you're searching for somebody playing Farm Sim, for instance, there's people, of course, who play other games in the same boat. But if you search for the tag disabled streamer, you'll find a ton of people, man,
Right.
and it's just amazing. And I spoke about how this gets me out of bed and keeps me having a reason, because you mentioned mental health. Man, I've gone through that a ton. There's times there's so many other bodily functions that stop working
Right.
as a side effect of all the medicines I'm on, and just not being able to use like my legs and stuff like that. And I've got neuropathy to beat the band, where my feet are just like blocks of concrete, and they're very painful, at times. But I got medicine for all this stuff, and you do get into these dark times, at times where I'm tired of being big. I used to weigh. We talked about when I went to Jersey, I weighed 195 pounds,
Right.
and now I weigh, just a little over 300 pounds again, because I put on weight since I moved to Texas, even. So those days come, and it gets so hard to breathe. Some days you're like, nah, I don't care today.
Right.
And you stay in bed. Sometimes that can happen for days. And you just don't care anymore, and that's not a good place to go. So my doctor, thank God for him, talked to him. He kind of knew something. I wasn't as chipper as normal, and so he gave me some medicine that I take now, and it has balanced that all out. And I'm in a good place again. There's so much of that mental health, so important. And so many people I meet, streamers, going through the same things. And I think that's what draws us all together. I think that's why, especially on Twitch, where we come together and hang out, is because we all, and even you and I you're talking about how it's very similar things to me. That happens with so many people on here that I talk to. And so we have our place now. Because if you go out in the world out here, honestly, who are you going to talk to?
Right.
Hey, I got some problems. You want to come talk to me?
Right.
What are you going to do? You can't go hang out anywhere.
I think it's a really
So it's just so
powerful.
wonderful.
It is wonderful, and it's a powerful thing, I think, that people don't think about when it comes to streaming or creating any sort of community on the internet.
Yeah.
Is like, if you can strip away like differences and find common ground with someone, in this instance, the common ground being Farming Simulator, it brings people from all over the world together. As long as you can speak the same language and communicate in that way and have that common interest, and you really start to realize that we're all human beings at the end of the day, and we've all got our struggles, we've all got things going on that may or may not be visible to people. And so it's really cool to see the community when they can come together in those types of moments and really like build each other up. And that's one of the things I love the most about the Farm Sim community, is that you start to realize that you see the same people and over, and that like we may not be the biggest community out there, but you see the same names across like multiple channels. You're watching someone on YouTube, you go over on Twitch the next day, you might see a few people that you're already familiar with from seeing the day before, and you really start to build these relationships. So I'm really glad that you found your place in it all, and that it gives you something to look forward to and something to engage with. Okay.
Yeah, I've got that logo real quick. Just
Go ahead.
wrap that up. I got that logo you asked me about. It's on I have it on my live screen, and other people have picked it up too and put it on theirs. And that's what I've asked. And it's on my Discord on the hashtag SDS logo. It's there, free. It's transparent.
Okay.
There's two versions, one smaller without the wheelchair. If the whole idea is, I'd like to see that on as many people's live streams, if you have room on your screen, just to show support. and recognition to the people who struggle every day. And there's people even far worse shape than me on there. Um, and so it's just a thing. If you could, I love seeing it. I've seen it around on other people's channels, and boy, I'd like to see as many of those as I can. And so hit me up in Discord chat out there, and I'll
There
tell
you
you how
go.
to get it. Mr. T Bone, can I say hello?
Of
Mr. T
course.
Bone and Matt. I told you about Matt. They went, and Howie. They all went through this hospice bit with me
Okay.
over on YouTube those days. And without those three guys, and we'll go on. I don't want to get tipsy eyed. Here we go. I
Feel
love those
free.
guys.
Uh,
I love those guys.
well, I'm glad
That's
that
all.
I'm glad you took the moment to say that to them. It's important for sure, and
Yeah.
glad they could be here with you as well. And thank you for sharing and being open with us about it. All
Yeah.
right, we've already learned about your journey up until this point, how you got into farm sim, how you got started. We've learned about the life behind Six. Now let's go a little bit more recent times. Although Farming Simulator 22, I can't believe it's been out for like almost 14 months now. It's just like flown by.
Yeah.
But what's been your
Yeah.
favorite thing about 22 more specifically so far?
There are many things I like about 22. They made precision farming even better than it was in 19. I love precision farming. I think it's so cool. And the DLCs are fantastic. I own every one of them.
Okay.
19, I didn't buy all of them in 19, but I love all the DLCs that have come out. Um, I have fun with that pumps and hoses. I hear some people aren't as excited about that. I enjoy it. I think anything that adds something else to do,
Right.
another task that has to be done that makes it seem so real when you're playing the game. It's like, oh, I didn't do this. We have to do this, or you're not going to get the yield you need. Why are you going to farm if you're not going after the best yield you can get?
Right.
So all the steps, I like to go through them. I learn a lot from watching virtual farmers, real good about in real farming and kind of thing, and
VF's
other
awesome.
people. Another Giants partner. I like. I have mods. Okay, I cheat once in a while, but I've gotten back mostly in 19. I did that, but this year now, especially the past 6 months, I've tried to get back to a more real gameplay style as best I can.
Right.
Sometimes there's just a mod that you just gotta put it on there because it's so cool, and I'm just gonna do it. And the fans clamor for it, and they like to see it too. But all of the DLC on this game, 22, is so cool. There's always something cool about it. The Platinum expansion is fantastic. That's the best DLC that's ever come out in my book.
Nice. I'm glad you
I used
enjoyed
to
it.
log like crazy on 19. We had the Sixwheelin Logging Academy. We logged and logged, but we brought in all the FDR gear
Right.
to do it. Now, the logging gear in 22 is awesome. I love it.
Right.
And it's everything we need. So I'm having a ball with the Silver Run Forest map. It's an absolute legend. It's gold. It's 4 or 5 stars. It's perfect. I love that map. I've not been able to play on it as much as I want because we're so busy doing the other stuff. But I'm playing it. I've got my solo game, and I sit on the weekends because I don't stream on the weekends. But when I have those times, I get on there and play them. So all the DLC and the maps are good. We had a lot of good maps that I'm enjoying.
The modding
So
community has really been like it's the best they've ever been. They continue to get better too.
yeah,
It's wild, like the amount of mods we already have, is
yes,
approaching the amount of mods we had total for 19, and it had been out for 3
mhm,
years, so like only like
yeah,
slightly over a year in, and just the amount of mods that are getting created is insane. So thank you, mod
it
community.
is.
Yeah.
And another thing about the people who make these mods, I mean, we got our buddy BK Mods, who's got mods in the game. Many of all the mods out there, they're very approachable, is what I'm trying to say. In
Right.
this version of Farm Sim, they just all seem, hey, tell me, they don't get upset if you got a problem or you notice something. They're more open to hearing constructive criticism, what do you want to call it? And
Right.
it isn't criticism, it's just, hey, what about this? And they're very receptive to it. I've noticed in the Farm Sim 22 year than they've ever been. So hats off to those guys. I mean, it's just really nice to be able to go and do that because before you were like scared to death to ask any of them anything. At least I was. I was like, I ain't asking them nothing. And but they don't mind. They really don't mind in this version of the game. And so that's really cool. Cavalier Roy, he's in there, and BK, those guys, they're all, hey, Taylor Farms, all those guys, they'll listen to you,
Yeah, I
and
love
and
that.
sometimes they can help you out, and sometimes no.
And it never hurts to ask, and depending
Yeah,
on the situation, right? Like, of course, I get messages sometimes, and sometimes I get messages like, "Hey, I have a question," and like, I'm like, I wish you would have just asked it at this point. Just ask me the question. I'll see if I can give you an answer. But like, there's also I've talked to so many people within the farm sim community, and like they'll ask me about someone like a question about someone else. Hey, do you know like what they're doing with this? I'm like, have you reached out to this person and asked them? No, I didn't know if I should bother them. I'm like, well,
mhm,
at least try. You never know. Like the farm sim
yes,
community, for the most part, there's going to be exceptions, but the majority of the people, if you approach them
mhm,
in a nice way and you ask them a question, they're more than
yeah,
willing to help you. I've seen people stop their streams in the middle of it to have a conversation with somebody. So, yeah,
yes,
definitely, you gotta at least try to see
yeah.
how it happens. So you've got a lot of mods at this point. Let's talk about your favorite Giants map for 22. So you can include the base game
Mhm,
maps and Silver Run from Platinum. Which one is your favorite
yeah.
from those? And then what's your favorite modded map that you've played so far in 22?
My favorite modded map is South Louisiana,
Okay.
hands down. Um, I've had to do some fixes myself on it, but not Giants had it. Just stuff you can do with the game's tools,
Okay.
to make this right or that right. Um, I got it from Red Red Dirt Ranch, which, by the way, shout out to my Red Dirt Rough Riders, our
Shout out
stream
to all of
team.
them for sure.
Because without Jimmy and the boys at EOS and XR Renegade, those guys that helped me get going um, in my Twitch career, and all
Gotcha.
those guys. But yeah, that map, Jimmy gave me that map. He was streaming it and he gave me the link, and I'm on year 2 on
Nice.
it, and it's my go-to map. When I just want to chill out and play, and when everybody leave me alone, I just talk about here at home. I come in here and shut the door, and I play that map. Um,
Do you
it's
happen to
just something
know
about
who
the
created
way it
that
feels.
map? Do you know the modder of that?
Uh, I can tell you real quick because I got it right here. I oftentimes have the link here. Now, where's my little folder here? Here it is. Yeah, I can tell you. It's made by who's this guy? Louisiana Mapping is what it's called.
There you go. It was right there in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Follow Louisiana Mapping, it says.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's on, I guess, I don't know if he's on Facebook or what he is. Um,
Cool.
that's one of I don't have a Facebook page. But if anybody wants it, hit me up on Discord. I can get you the link. You can get the map. It's
There you go.
fun. It's a lot of fun.
All
But
right.
that's
What
my
about
favorite modded map. And now the Giants map, base game map,
right?
um, I play many of them. But I'm going to have to go right now. When I play the most, we were really into Ohio Richlands, and we ran into a jam on there. We're waiting on an update. But I'll tell you what, we keep coming back to the Iowa map.
Okay.
It just had another update that was huge, and it was fantastic. We're playing it in our G Portal server. Shout
Right.
out G Portal, and they we're having a ball on there, and it's going to be, we got a $10 million challenge going on it, and it's going to be easy to do because they just put a whole bunch of production in there, and they've fixed stuff. This is like the 5th update of the map, and so it's ready. It's rock and rolling and ready. That I'm going to say that's probably going to have to be my favorite base game map now that I get out of the Giants mod hub.
All right. Well, what about like the maps that we've created? So Elm Creek.
Elm Creek. I've still got the Elm Creek farm.
Yeah. Okay. So you're still playing on that one.
Oh yes.
Have you played? So you've been playing on Silver Run as well. It sounds like because you've been like in the forestry stuff. So probably those two if you're going to the ones created by us. There's another map coming out at the end of this year. So created by us. That'll be the second big expansion for 22 coming out later in the year as part of the year 2 season pass, and you can get it on its own as well, of course, for all the DLCs. We're going to have 4 smaller packs plus a large expansion, some other cool surprises along the way in 2023. Like if you thought 2022 was a big year for Farming Simulator, like buckle up everybody. There's even more coming down the pipeline this year, so you should be excited. Okay, well, we've covered your map, your favorite maps. What about like, so you got started on 15 on console, and I think you got bit by the bug, and it sounds like you probably eventually were like talking to some people, and like, if I got this on PC, I have like all of these other mods I can get at my disposal, and your world kind of opened up a little bit, didn't it? But
yes.
Go ahead, you can answer that if you want.
I was just saying, when I was watching Farmer Men, and another dude he would stream with, make these stories with, golf cart jockey, God bless him, wherever he is. They switched from console to PC, and I started seeing all the neat signs they made, the custom signs, and they got their names on them, and all this jazz, and just fun little personalized, customized tractors and what have you that they would get, and the signs. I'm a sign freak. I love the signs. And
me too.
So anyhow, I was like, I need a sign. I got to have a sign. I got to put a sign on it. And I couldn't do it. And I was hanging on it. And I'd beg my wife, please let me get a PC. Give it to me. And, I was so sick. She was like, I know what she was thinking. She's like, yeah, man, she of course would never say it. And I joke around a lot about my illness, okay? Because it keeps you going too. You got to have a sense of humor with this crap. It'll drive you crazy.
Right.
But, basically you were thinking, yeah, you don't know how long you'll be around, dude. I don't want to put, $1,500, $2,000 in a PC, and then have you croak tomorrow, so, just basically that kind of, without saying it, that's what was the thinking, I'm sure,
Right.
So it went on for a while. And then when I guess I convinced her I was going to stick around a little bit, she finally said, okay. And I said, okay, good. So I got the PC. And Mr. T-Bone helped me get the PC, nice. Figure out what kind I wanted. My first one. I'm on my second one now. But,
okay. Well, do you have any advice? Do you have any advice to people that maybe are in a similar situation as you once were, where you first discovered Farming Simulator, and maybe there's someone watching that and you have some advice to give to someone, kind of new to the series?
In regard to, just
playing
into
the game, how you get into it. Like,
the best thing, and we invite everybody in all the time on our server. I have a server. I'd tell them, come on in and play. We put up the link to download the mods. I invite people in. Now, we did crossplay for a while. Now, that's another thing. We didn't talk about that yet, really. FS22, the cool thing about it was crossplay. That was a hands down winner. Okay, that was huge. I forgot about that because we kind of got away from it. We had console players on a server.
Right.
But then they kind of went away. To where it just wasn't, it takes time to put a server together and keep it running, keep it updated, There's only so many hours in a day. So I just it was like, if there's not going to be any console players with us, and that's what it turned out, we just said, let's check that little box, and now we're going to put PC mods on. And that was it, Okay. So that led us away with that, but that was another thing. But anyhow, get in as many multiplayer games as you can. And be kind. don't be silly. Don't go in there and the first thing you guys you want to ask if you're going in on somebody's map, do you have on crop destruction? Always
Right.
that.
Yeah.
My first experience going back to Farmer Men, he finally let me come on one of his multiplays when I got to know him,
Nice.
and it's still on my YouTube page, and I'm sure on his because we did a live stream, and it kind of went down in history because I was running around there, and I finally it took me forever to find this place. So they come up with this as a six-wheeler map tour they called it. Whenever I was going from one place to another, I got to the field finally to do what they sent me to do. I'd get out on the field and I get going before I let down the implements. I was fertilizing, so before I even put the arms out on the sprayer, um, I'm like, what are all these tracks in the field? And then I was like, oh man. I said, Farmer Man, I said, do you have crop destruction on? And they all just busted into a big laugh. And yeah, I
Whoops.
thought it went pretty bad. And so that's good advice. But I still haven't lived it down. And that happened back in 2018, So
Right.
that sticks with you. So do that. But just be nice and cordial, and come and play as much multiplayer because that's where you learn everything. Because oftentimes we troubleshoot, how do you work this mod? How does this work? How should we go about doing this? And you discuss it all with this, band of people. And that's the easiest way, I think. But the first thing, you always got to start with a tutorial if you're first starting. Very helpful. Then you know what you're doing. That's what I did. And then again, break into some multiplayer and talk to people and let them teach you, tutor you along the
Right.
way. And then once you're feeling comfortable, bust on out and do what you want to do and have fun. Just remember it's a game. Don't get mad at it. It's not real life. It's
Right.
just a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Don't get mad at the game. Don't get mad about anything. You know,
it's important to
in the
remember that.
gameplay. Yeah, because it's just a game. It's here for fun, and it's not going to be 100% real, but it's darn good. And like I said, I wouldn't be active at all if I didn't have this. I play ATS. I like that.
Okay.
But this is it for me. This is the game where I can keep my mind right. It keeps me thinking of stuff, focused. I'm not curled up in bed, depressed
Right.
on a machine. So I'm so grateful to Giants for making this game. Without them doing that, I've wondered. I told my mom, I said, what would I do if I didn't have this game? And I would have driven her nuts. She probably would have walked out the door if I didn't have this game. Because what else would I do except roll around on my wheelchair and say, woe is me,
Right.
So no, without this game and Giants for making it, I'll be forever grateful to them. And this may seem silly, but it's I tell this to other people all the time. Um, it's just, man, I can't even fathom what I would do without it.
Right.
So that's why I say I'm just very grateful. And then when you invited me in, it was just super. This is like icing on the big cake. And we've been baking for a few years, and Partner was huge. I worked 3 years to make Partner, and finally built up a community big enough to get the 1,500 points I needed.
I
and,
love the wall behind you, by the
I got
way.
it.
Looks really cool. You got the
Oh, the
got
Partner
the
logo.
plaque and
That was the nicest plaque.
then
I love that. And this is my new. I got these for Christmas. My Sixwheelin Live Studio.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then my gamer tag for Twitch.
Right.
Back here, it's multicolored, changes color.
I love it.
And I got some more lights to put in that I have. I've got one side put together. I don't have the other side put together yet. We slow and steady wins the race. We don't get in a hurry.
When did you receive
And
your plaque? I'm just curious if you can remember.
December, we got it in December.
So just recently. Okay, cool.
I think end of November, 1st of December. Um,
Yeah, they were on hold there for a while due to COVID and like logistics and not having materials available, but they're starting to roll
yeah,
back out now. If you haven't received one and you're watching and you're a partner, you will get one eventually. They're just sent
it
out
was.
in
Yeah,
batches, so you'll get
I
it.
have a picture. My wife took. I was in bed. Um, she had gone to the door and got this package, and I was in bed on my machine, and she came in and said, "What is this?" It says Giants. I was like, I have no idea, you know. So I opened that thing up, and then there's a beautiful box that comes in inside, a very lovely presentation, you know, and a letter in there, and I started bawling, and I held up. My wife took a picture of me. I've got the stupid mask on my face and everything, and I got the Giants. I got that thing right there. Holding it up, so proud. You know, I was so proud, and like I said, because without Giants, I'd be screwed. I don't think I'd be around really, but because I wouldn't have anything to do.
Well,
Um,
we're happy that you've found a way. Whether it would have been our game or not, we of course are glad that you found this to be a way to give you something to engage with and
yeah,
give you something to look forward to when you get up. And we're really just happy that you've shared your story with us as well, because it's important for us to hear these types of things, because like you said earlier, just a bit ago, it is a game. It's important to remember that. But I think what video games provide you, if you find one you love, especially one that you're playing for thousands of hours, a game like Farming Simulator, if you really get into it, like it becomes a big part of your life. And but you find joy in it, you find happiness through it, and you've been able to meet some friends through it too, which I think is great.
yeah. I have more friends than I've ever had in my life, and you'll hear. I've heard it all the time. You hear people coming from other gaming communities. They get in, they say, well, I'm going to try this game. And then they get into like in the farm sim. And then you'll hear them say in the chat, they'll type it, or if they're on voice with you, they go, this is the nicest community I've ever been in. And the farm sim community is absolutely wonderful. And it's all around the world. I have so many friends from every continent around the world now. And, shout up in Norway to my best bud, Broadleaf. Yeah, I mean, I have friends all around the world. That it's just amazing, you know. I grew up, I was born in the '50s, and to think I'm sitting here and I have friends all around the world that I can just very easily pull up every day and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, and hang out and have some fun with this game. Is just it's inconceivable to me, you know. But
Right.
there it is, and here it is. I'm just so grateful for it. You know, it's really cool, really cool.
Yeah, I love it. You pretty much we answered the next question without me even having to ask the question, which was, "What's your favorite thing about the farm sim community?" But we've pretty much covered that right there. Maybe you want to
Yeah,
expand
that's
on
it.
it a little bit more.
Yeah, just it's especially off stream. We hang out in the discords and whatnot. You get very close, to a lot of people, and like I said, that's the big thing. And they genuinely, you learn, not everyone, but you learn. There are so many who just genuinely love you and care about you, and that is, man, as screwed up as things are in around the world these days, and there's still this safe place
Right.
that I go every day and feel the embrace that I feel from everyone while we're playing, and when they come in and hang out with me, by being all goofy on my live streams and having some fun. It's just amazing, and like I said, inconceivable. But I'm just so grateful that it exists. Um, Man, what a deal!
I love it. Thank you for sharing with us. This has been a really easy 53 minutes to chat with you. I'm sure we could carry on for another hour if we wanted to. But in interest of time, we are coming to like the last, few questions or so. And I always save my favorite one for last. Thank you everyone for being with us. By the way, on Twitch and YouTube, I've seen so many people in here. Some of you have asked questions that you may think I ignored you. I've seen some of them in chat. We don't really answer questions about like the game in these streams, but I will address one or two things that I've seen at the end of the stream. So stick around and I'll talk more about that. Okay, so this is my favorite question, Six. All right, we've come to this one, and knowing you as well as I've gotten to know you just by watching your streams and talking to you today, I feel like you could talk about this one for a while because you love Farming Simulator. So, what would be your dream things? Okay, this is the point where I'd look into the camera at everybody and get a little wag of the finger and say, Six is dreaming big here. This doesn't mean that it's coming to Farming Simulator. But I want him to, with no restrictions, tell us what he would like to see come to Farming Simulator in the future. 1 to 3 things. Maybe it's a feature. Maybe it's, a gameplay mechanic. Maybe it's a piece of equipment. But Six, the floor is yours. What would you like to see in future Farming Simulators?
I'd like to see a motorized wheelchair mod.
Okay.
That would be cool. Like they've got all those little motorcycles and jazz. Having a motorized wheelchair would be cool. Kind of have it, with plenty of horsepower. We joke about pimping mine up real good. But anyhow, no, seriously though. What we were talking about, we talk about this stuff a lot. So things to come to the game that would be cool.
Wow. I've stumped him.
Well, it did because, I'm so pleased with this edition of it that I would have to, think long and hard about this. I'm not real sure what else we could do. Right. That we haven't had. You guys have gone so deep into the real world farming atmosphere of it. My goodness, you could, everybody gets a kick out of it. It doesn't really matter. See, I'm real simple, so it's easy to please me. I can share with you things I've heard people want, in the game. Different companies, of tractors and stuff. But heck, fire! I'm just so happy with what we got that it's hard for me personally to say what we could bring to the game. And not being a real farmer, of course, leaves a blank space too, because I don't know what other equipment we could possibly need. Right. I joke about it. I'm like, we have so many. I've got so many. I have over 2,000 mods now. We just had the count yesterday. I have so many trailers because they look cool. And keep in mind, I load all 2002 mods into each map. I don't do like a lot of people do and click them, and I ain't got time for that. I just put them all in. Let's go. And so they're in every map, I don't lag. Thank goodness I've been blessed with living in a place where we got gigabyte internet and everything's cool. I had over 3,000 mods, 3,500, something like that. Guys in chat who know me would know what that was. It was like 3,500, I think we hit on 19 in mods. But the trailers, man, I love the trailers. And I'm big time into mowing and silage, making silage, animals. The animals, now that'd be a thing. If you want to talk about the animals, actually see, the cows put some little calves out there. It's in some custom maps, but just to have a part of the game where the cows actually do have babies,
Right.
And they show up the calves and, the little lambs and then the baby chicks running around, all that stuff. That would be cool. That would be fun to see because I love playing with the animals in the game. So that would be something, just a little more stuff in the animals, um, perhaps more about the feeding of them,
Right.
maybe
Okay.
that makes it more
Yeah,
educational.
our animals haven't really had much of like a an expansion on like how they work. Like we've added different animal types over, some versions in the past since we first introduced them, but it's one of those areas of the game, like the mechanics of it in the base game hasn't seen that much of like an expansion or extension on what was put in originally. So I like that you've mentioned that. That's one that we've heard, quite a bit, is adding a little bit more depth in there, and maybe it'll
Yeah,
happen in the future. I don't know, like it, but if you look at
yeah.
forestry, for example, we added that.
Mm.
Your first one you said was FS15. That's when we added
Yep.
forestry for the first time, and then we
Mhm.
didn't really expand on how the process of it worked until the platinum expansion, and then all of a sudden like it kind of
Right.
changed, and adding the production chain element of 22 gave you a reason to cut trees down, and then turned it into things further. So yeah,
Oh
who
yeah, and
knows
I'm
what the
still
future
learning
holds.
so much on that map, Silver Run Forest. Again, there's so much to do on there. I've just barely got into it with the production part of it. I'm getting in there now. I'm still trying to load the train without screwing that up, but it's that's just me. It's nothing with the game. It's just I just don't know quite yet the best way to load that train with some of the things. So I'm learning stuff like that. But it's so much fun. It's what a great map, and all the forestry equipment, amazing, amazing equipment. Because like I
Glad
said,
you
we used to have
enjoyed it.
to download FDR stuff, and now you don't have to fool with any of that outside stuff.
Right.
Which has helped a lot too. Not having to um, go out and find stuff
Right.
and
It
put it
being there
in, because
already.
a lot of times they conflict with the stuff, and that would cause you problems, and so on and so on. So having everything in our server, we run 99.5% is all out of the Giants mod hub. Um, we might throw in a custom mod here or there, but pretty much it's all straight out of the Giants mod hub, even on the PC.
Wow.
But it's PC mods that are on the mod hub, and that was the other cool thing, is that there are mods in there, more mods this edition for PC that that we can use.
Right.
And they didn't worry about, well, console guys can't have it. They just said, okay, well, we're going to go with it anyway.
Right.
So that's been,
You've
you know,
impressed some people. I love seeing the reaction when you said you had 2002 mods. People in chat
well,
really love that. Like,
I
wow,
need
that's a lot
help,
of
guys.
mods. Someone, where did it go? I've lost it in chat now. Oh, it was Cavalier Roy says, checks mod folder, 303 mods. Think it's time to start getting more mods. You've inspired some people maybe that their mod addiction is not quite matching up to yours. So
Yeah, well, and the other reason too, I'd say, is I look at it too, guys. So, like, people made these things. They take their time and they've contributed it to the farm sim thing. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to at least check it out and give it a run. Um, I think they deserve that. I mean, they put in all the time and energy to do it, and they want to see it. So I try to use everything. At some point or another, use at least one thing out of a pack or whatever. Just put it on a stream. So maybe the modder says, "Oh, that's my mod." I mean, heck, they worked hard. So and you just never know when you're going to need this, that, or the other thing. So I don't check each mod. I just throw them in there. You never know what you're going to need. So we just bring the whole toolbox.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I love our modding community. I see some people talking about the mods in chat. Miss Jessie says mods kind of keep the game alive. So hands up for modders. It definitely keeps the game fresh, and there's always something coming out. Like you can change your play style when new players. I meet a lot of people at events and doing interviews and things like that for my job. And whenever I talk to someone that is either a newcomer to playing or they are just learning more about the game for the first time when they're talking to me, once you start to tell them about the modding community, and they're like, wait, like you have user created content like directly in your game that you can download. Like, yeah. And if you're on PC, even beyond that, if you want to get into that kind of space, but like the Mod Hub has such a wide variety of mods. You talked about how you your play style, you like to try to do things more realistic. You like the precision farming DLC, but some of those mods where I don't know if we can credit DJ Gohan with coming up with this saying himself altogether, but I have heard him say it a lot, and I really like it. Hey, I'm not cheating. I'm enhancing my gameplay experience. Like maybe I think it was him, maybe it was someone else, maybe it was several people, but this is a great way
Yeah.
to put this because in my eyes, like we've said a couple of times, it is a game at the end of the day. It's important to have fun
Yeah.
with it. So whatever fun
Yeah.
looks like for you, play Farm Sim
Sure.
that way. So if you're
But
putting
it'd
in
be pretty amazing the things these guys think up. You know.
right,
You know, it's just crazy. Some of the things you see, you get these I don't know, a cultivator that'll go, from side to side of an entire field of a 64x map. I mean, they got these crazy things that go out there and you go 1,000 mile an hour down the field. I mean, it's pretty
I
amazing.
just saw Tony
Um,
Miff
it's fun to
shared with
goof
me.
around with.
Tony Miff yesterday shared with me a little YouTube short that he did where he's driving a land speeder mod in Farm Sim, like a land speeder from Star
Oh,
Wars. Like so,
yeah,
like mods really do go from like the realistic to the ridiculous, if you will. Like you can
yes,
dream up like so many different things in Farm Sim and
yeah,
mess around with them and have fun. So
I'm
it
telling
is
you.
great. Shout out to our modders for all the help
Yeah, for sure.
and thanks
So
for
that's the
putting
thing.
that
If I had
time in.
anything else I'd want to learn, I would love to learn how to make a mod. I, I I don't have the head for it anymore. I can't. I just couldn't. It's not that I'm not smart enough. It's just that there's not enough brain cells left to learn anything. The old dog learning, teaching an old dog new tricks is very true with me. I'm pretty much, if I don't know it by now, I ain't gonna. you know, I'm happy where I'm in a comfortable place. So I'm all good. I'll let them do all that. You
No,
know.
no, Tic Tac, Star Wars, I love. It's not ridiculous. What I'm saying is that the thought of a land speeder in Farming Simulator, if you think about it, is kind of ridiculous, but it's pretty awesome at the same time. So let me correct
Yep.
what I was saying
Unless, of
there.
course, you put it on a Mars map. You spoke about Tony. Tony played on Mars last year,
Tony has
and
been on
you
Mars
can have him land.
before.
Yeah, you can. I think he's from Mars, really. Some of them, but no, no, we love Tony, and but yeah, he could have used that on his Mars map. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. I've even seen like Tony and DJ Goham did a video together where they were using livestock to pull machines, and that was pretty
That
wild to see.
that would be cool. I saw in one on 19. We had one, but it was kind of weird because somebody had made a sled or plow thing. Um, or was it no? It was a horse-drawn carriage.
Okay.
That's what it was. And it was around Christmas though, but it just the wheels didn't turn. It had like skis on the bottom with wheels,
Okay.
and it just slid. And the horses were already attached. That would be a cool thing though. If you could get a expansion of you talk about animals to have horse drawn because a lot of us like to play small farm. Jab comes to mind. Jab plays small everything. And to have the ability to hook up a team to a plow and out there and you walk behind and you're plowing the field with the horses, man, that would be cool. For us
Yeah, it
old
would.
guys, maybe not the young guys, but I mean, us old timers, I think we would enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get so many awesome ideas and feedback from the community. So I saw someone earlier say like, how do I get feedback about the game to Giants, the forums. I really like Discord as a space for that. So feel free to go in there and drop it as well. If you're a Giants partner, you have access to the partner program email. So feel free to email us there with any kind of feedback that you have as well. Keep sending it in. and we love to collect it. I mean, some of the things that you see in 22 were things that the community talked about. So it's not always possible to, achieve every bit of feedback, but we are listening. We're doing the best we can to hear all of these ideas and then, escalate them properly throughout the company. So keep sending us that stuff. Six, it's been awesome, buddy. We're coming towards the end of the stream now. So first of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story, for opening up to us and those of us that weren't aware of your story. Thank you so much for getting us informed on your journey, and we really appreciate you and your community and what you do with Farming Simulator on Twitch. And we hope to continue to see you doing it for as long as you're loving it and enjoying it, because it seems like it's something that you really take pride in and that you look forward to. So thank you.
Thank you for asking me and having me, Kermit. I mean, I've been on cloud nine ever since you asked me, and this is big. And I can't. I'm so grateful, and I'll just leave it at that, man. You guys are awesome. I love the game. My community, God love you all. I love you guys, and don't go away from me, because I'll be screwed if you guys are gone. So, I just can't say thank you enough to you, Kermit, and to Giant Software for having this game for people like me. And there's a lot of disabled people, once again, that rely on this game. That I don't think a lot of people understand. And that's why I got that logo thing going again, because we need this game. This is it's perfect for us,
Right.
So thank you again to Giants, and thanks, Kermit. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, Six. We're going to let him hang around for a little bit. I just want to say a few things and wrap up, and then we'll both say our goodbyes officially. Okay, so I've already said the bit about the feedback. What else did I see earlier that I wanted to cover? Oh, someone said, is there a patch coming out soon for the Platinum expansion and for Silver Run and all of the equipment that was added? Yes, soon. Be on the lookout for that. Of course, like social media, our website, Discord are good places to be if you want to stay up to date with like announcements. So when this is all ready and ready to go out, you'll be able to see those announcements in that place. But you don't have to wait for too much longer if everything goes well. The Year 2 Season Pass, I want to address that real quick. We don't have anything to share with you at this time, but of course the first one is going to be out within the next few months or so. So the news will start coming out for that at some point soon. And then if you enjoy the community spotlight streams, they're going to be back about every 2 weeks. I think the next one is going to be scheduled on February 1st with Driver 53 Gaming, one of our partners who does a lot of awesome content on YouTube. We've got spotlights scheduled basically every other week from now until March 15th. We've got mainly content creators in there. We have one modder map designer that's very well loved in the community. I'm not going to ruin the surprise. He may or may have not announced it on his Facebook already. But yeah, I want to try to get more modders involved in the spotlights as well, because as we've talked about throughout this conversation with Six, the modding community is a huge part of what makes Farming Simulator so great. So looking forward to that. Now, there's going to be next week a stream, but it's not going to be a community spotlight, but it's still going to be really cool. And it's going to be a new type of stream that I'll be doing throughout the year. And it's going to be called Community Multiplayer. So if you've been watching the spotlight since the beginning, for the first few episodes, Red Dirt Ranch was the first guest. We might have to have him on again at some point, by the way, because in those times we only did it on Twitch, and the VOD has since disappeared, and so it's like it never happened. We love Jimmy. Maybe we'll have to get him back on. But for the first few, we were playing the game and doing the interview, and then it quickly became just an interview show, which I really prefer for these because the focus isn't on the game. It's not on Giants. It's on the guest, like Six with us today. But we're going to start doing these community multiplayers where it focuses on something that a community within the greater Farm Sim community is doing that's really neat. So next week, next Wednesday at an hour earlier than this one. So 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central European time. I'll be joining the Farm Sim guy and Argsy Gaming and some of their crew for the Farming Simulator logging challenge that they have created on Silver Run Forest. If you've not seen this yet, if you like logging, go to the YouTube, go to these guys' channels, check it out. They've created a little competition on their own, similar to like how the FSL works. You can do 1v1 or 3v3 in this, but it's all centered around logging. They've set up some cool courses on a server that you play, and I am probably going to make a fool of myself, so you don't want to miss that great content next week when I join them for that. And if your community is doing something cool with your multiplayer server and you think that it would be cool to feature on one of these, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. If you're in the official Farming Simulator Discord, I'm Community Kerminator on there. You can find me on there. You may have to wait for me to approve a DM, or feel free to tag me in like the lobby channel or something. I'm not adverse to tags in Discord as long as you are actually directly asking me something. So feel free, if you have a suggestion, to drop me a line. Say, hey, we're doing this. It's really cool, and I would be willing to look at that, because I want to feature more of these communities where instead of an interview, I join them for a little bit of gameplay, have some fun. Okay, yeah, that's about it. Six. Once again, thank you so much for being with me. Thanks for hanging out. You got anything to say to your people as you're about to head off?
Oh yeah. Well, we're going to live stream after this, and so don't forget that, guys. And Kermit, thanks so much again. And my community, I love you all. You all showed up big time today, and again, you all mean everything to me. Big hugs, high fives, and whoop whoop out there, because we have so much fun. And God bless you. Thanks for being here. I love all you guys too. I've been seeing the comments, and God bless you guys. Thanks so much.
Twitch.tv/Sixwheelin, as you see it on his nameplate on the screen. So if you want to go join his stream later or in the future, make sure you go follow this awesome guy over here. Six, thanks again, everyone in chat. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Until then, keep being awesome, and thanks everyone for hanging out with us today. All right, see you next time. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's raid somebody, actually. I'm not going anywhere quite yet. Let's make sure that there's a good candidate for our raid. Someone family friendly. And let's see. Who can it be? Who will be the lucky one? Is he family friendly? Nope, 18 plus. Bummer. I do like his streams. By the way, while we're on this conversation and I'm looking up someone, when I go into streams and people like see me there or they find out who I am, because I don't ever like say who I am unless someone asks. But some of you will be like, "Oh, you don't know who Kerm is?" Like in chat, and you'll tell the streamer. By the way, if you aren't family friendly, that's okay. Be yourself, okay? I feel like people are like, "Oh no, Kermit's here." Oh, time to button up and behave. Please be yourself. That's the most important thing to me. But when we're talking about rating someone, we do like to pick someone out that's family friendly. Do we have any suggestions on there? I don't see. Oh, here's let's see.
We got Twin Cam Gaming's live right now.
That's who I was gonna suggest, was Twin Cam. I feel like we may have rated him before, but you know what? It's his lucky day, and it's just gonna happen again, because he seems to be the best candidate right now. So let's raid Twin Cam. There we go. All right, now we'll see you guys later. Thanks again, Six. Thanks.